All righty, welcome to another episode of the Lockdown Podcast. Continuing to pick apart Raw, SmackDown, the last time is now tournament. We got Survivor Series in a couple weeks. So we know that John Cena, basically the last championship he had to get to be the Grand Slam was the IC, and it was widely rumored. So like it was cool, but it was predictable. But so Raw kicks off, and Adam Pearce is out there with John Cena, just kind of doing kind of the rundown of his career, yada yada. And they're talking, and then Dominic's music hits. And I have to say, and again, this is me giving more credit to Dominic Mysterio, but like the basically the exchange with him and John Cena, like it's just fire. It's just fire, and I love that Dominic is comfortable. He like has no problem throwing jabs. And so he basically says the line that we all knew he was going to say is, I'll defend my title anytime, any place. And then you got Adam Pearce kind of chuckling behind him saying, well, here's the time, and this damn sure is the place.
Oh,
Obviously,
Triple
him,
H.
he ends up, yeah. And, oh, yeah, it was Triple H, not Adam Pearce. My bad. My bad. Correction. But, and so obviously John wins. No real surprise. It definitely was cool for him to create, finish his Grand Slam in his hometown. But I don't think this does anything but elevate Dominic Mysterio moving forward. Um and he's going to be into bigger and better things. And after the match, he basically was absolutely pissed. And this is again the implosion of Judgment Day. Dominic's like, he can't find anybody in back. He's like, no one helped him, no one did anything for him. And I feel like Dominic will be the first one to go.
Mm,
Um, and so I, I, we really thought it would be Finn, honestly, but I feel like Dominic will be the first one to go from Judgment Day. But obviously we'll wait and see. So we had one of the first matchups in the last time is now tournament. We had Rusev versus Damian Priest, and good match. I think we could have taken either one of these guys, um, in this match,
hmm
but I mean, I'm okay with Rusev. I feel like Rusev is a guy that has more of a history with John Cena than Damian Priest. So I feel like placing him for the W, I feel like is acceptable, because I want to see like the final match of all of the whole thing is I want to see someone that he has a history with and someone he has no history with and see what happens. So however they play it out. Um, so man, so CM Punk comes out and does what CM Punk does. And obviously, you get the Vision and Logan Paul coming out, and CM Punk, obviously, in typical fashion, picks a fight. You get Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, obviously, to help him out. No real surprise. Um, I feel like these times when you got one guy talking crap in the ring and people come out, it's like it's very predictable the people that will come out. Um, so obviously this ends up setting up, the War Games match. Um, we obviously only have 3-3 on officially on each side of it right now. So I'm hoping this week, I mean, we definitively should this week get, the rest of the people to the War Games matches, because the following week is always the advantage match for the War Games match. So hopefully looking forward to this week actually getting these final two on each side, whether it's on Raw or SmackDown, however they play it out. But you know, I think there's going to be some surprises. I think there's going to be some kind of cliche like jobber guys that are going to get put into this match. Um, but you know, maybe we'll be surprised. I like being surprised, but WWE is not very good at.
I'm gonna laugh. They put Brock Lesnar in it.
Here's what I'm thinking. Ricky Saints, not Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints. If we want surprises,
Right. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be against that. I mean, he's the current NXT champion. I mean, let's just toss all the champions together. I mean, I wouldn't be against that at all. But like you said, if they want a surprise, you know, give me some surprise. I mean, yeah. So we get Stephanie Becker facing off against Raquel Rodriguez. I believe it was for the championship. But Stephanie Becker obviously gets the win against Raquel, and then in typical fashion, Roxanne Perez gets involved, and then Nikki Bella plays, save the day. And then after the match, we get again a predictable moment, and Nikki Bella attacking Stephanie Becker. I mean, this is obviously just the setup of all setups, the trope of all tropes, the recipe that's been used 12 million times. So we're going to get Nikki Bella and Stephanie Becker in the near future. I don't know if it'll be next, this coming week, or I don't think it'll be at Survivor Series. So I think, maybe just a Raw down the road. I don't think they're going to make us wait for this until Saturday Night Main Event, because that's like a month away roughly. So I think they're going to do this on, a Raw within the next couple weeks. So we have our next last time is now tournament match between Sheamus and Shinsuke. And I know we talked about this beforehand, and it seems like they continue to bury Shinsuke Nakamura. And like, what are your guys' thoughts? Like, I mean, because like
they're always burying him, no matter freaking what. Whatever, if he's a heel, babyface, they don't give a shit. They're gonna bury the fuck out of him. They didn't do it in NXT, but when he made it to the main roster, since then he's been tossed around like a fucking ragdoll. Like a fucking used toy.
Yep, I agree. I think someone as decorated as Shinsuke coming into the WWE, I think his run has been pretty insulting, to be honest with you.
True.
Just like Sami Zayn, he should have been a multiple world champion. He should have been a Grand Slam champion already. And yeah, I won't have any other disrespect about that. I mean, you've got R-Truth or Ron Killings, you've got Sami Zayn, you've got Shinsuke Nakamura.
They're still making R-Truth look like a little fucking idiot again.
Yeah.
And I thought the serious, like, actual, not even like the psychological split between him being R-Truth and Ron Killings, like, for him to cut his hair on live TV was a big moment for him. Right. And to let us see a more serious Ron Killings, not goofy R-Truth. And I feel like this is one heel turn that they should have continued to do. Now, obviously, the John Cena thing was a flop, and that, whatever, they adjusted their plans for that. Yeah. And so like they adjusted those plans accordingly. But like you're not doing anything with our truth. So why not let him just be a bad guy? Let him
You know
come
what?
out and cause a
And
ruckus.
Yeah,
not
what was the
even
point for him
yeah.
cutting his damn hair?
You know what? He was going bald. Yeah.
Hey man, he
Yeah.
looked good with those damn dreads.
Yeah, but he was going bald. I get it.
So
But in the same sense of what they've done with R-Truth in his career, Shinsuke has been treated in a very similar fashion. The same with Sami Zayn, and with Shinsuke being in this last man standing tournament, or last chance, whatever tournament they're calling it, I wouldn't mind Sheamus losing that because it means he still has fight in him to get that to get the Grand Slam champion,
Yeah.
his Grand Slam. But
They've
yeah, I just
they've thwarted that from Sheamus for a really long time. And I feel like if they even have Sheamus in the tournament, it only makes sense like just from a like statistical standpoint that Sheamus wins the whole thing and they go off and it's Sheamus versus John Cena in the end. Sheamus beats him, he gets his Grand Slam, and that's the only way that makes sense for Sheamus to be in this. But if Sheamus was not in this, this wouldn't have been an issue and they should have definitely put over Shinsuke. But like if they think we're all just ignorant fans that think that this little bingo ball crap is even remotely realistic, you don't have anyone fucking fooled, okay? We've seen magicians in the balls trick, dude. Like, go watch Now You See Me. They literally show you how they do it. So, like, you can't sit there and say for even a brief moment that you think they're realistically drawing random names.
right.
It
or
is
not.
it is
No.
foolish. It is stupid. If they would have just put a bracket together and did it that way, fine. I'm okay with that. But just call it and just say it. Don't have this illusion of randomosity with the bingo thing. Like it's stupid. And when they've done you've never seen them do the bingo thing with the King of the Ring. They literally say, "Hey, these are the guys that are in it. Run it."
Hmm.
And so it's just silly. But so the Kabuki Warriors basically have been kind of messing with Charlotte and Alexa for the last couple weeks more than most. And so we do get the Kabuki Warriors versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss for the women's tag team. And in typical fashion, and I feel like it was kind of needed to happen, like regardless of any like outside interference stuff, like Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss have run their course with the tag team titles. And if they're going to drop them to anybody, I'm okay with the Kabuki Warriors. And I say that because they're a tag team, right?
Right.
They've been a tag team. They're an established tag team. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss were just thrown together by happenstance. And so it's time to let they don't have really that many women's actual tag teams. Like they might have like people that come across that have similar interests and they throw them together. But I feel like there's really not a women's tag division, and they keep on releasing the only women's tag teams they have, which makes no sense to me.
Mhm.
Like they released, they got rid of, I think it was Isla Dawn, who was part of the Unholy Union with Alba Fire, and then now Alba Fire is playing second fiddle behind Chelsea Green. They got rid of Caden and Katana Chance. Like they just keep on getting rid of the actual women's tag teams.
Mhm.
And they stuff us with these basically thrown together teams. And it's bad enough that our secondary titles in the women's division are very mid at best, let alone the tag team, which is even further down the rabbit hole. And that's even more bleak. because like they'll just hold those titles and then they'll hold them and they'll do nothing with them, and then all of a sudden they'll thrust a story together, and then that's when they lose them. I mean, that's what they did with Liv Morgan and Raquel, or I guess sorry, well, Roxanne in
Mhm.
Raquel, is that it ran its course and then they just thrust a story together with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair and just threw something together. Like they need to start establishing tag teams, have a more fierce women's tag team division because the men's is
I
fine.
was gonna say,
The-
bring up some people from NXT.
Yeah.
I mean, they're slowly doing that. I mean, you know, Lash Legend is being brought up, you know, so I think a lot of it takes times, and also you got to throw audibles in when someone gets hurt. You know, I think it speaks to a bigger picture with the product and people being patient with the product. Um, Even for us, you know, sometimes we want them to pull the trigger, but if we get everything that we want, we when we want more, there won't be any more for us to get because we
Yeah.
got everything we wanted. So I would like to preface it, you know, was from, you know, a group of people that just watch the product to enjoy it and then we tear it apart. We do have the same reactions to like, why won't they do this? Why won't they do that? You know, one part of it is whatever formula that they use to tell the stories, and then the recipes they use for the stories.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's then we get to talk about it and point out the reasons why, and we just, you know, kind of figure out, you know, what they're doing on a week to week basis. But I think we have to be a little bit patient and remember to be a little bit patient even when we're breaking this down. We can you know, we're getting it after the fact, you know, they've got to
Well,
decide before the
I
fact.
I just want them to like you know, if they're going to cut loose something and there's a prime time to do so and they continue to make us wait, and then when it kind of happens you're like, all right, well, cool, I guess. Like and I think like I'm not the only one, right? Like I watch mounds of wrestling, like you know, TikTok, YouTube, all that. Like so I ingest a lot of it, and we're all like most people have the same idea, the same like mindset, is that like when you have something hot, right?
Hmm.
Like take an LA Knight for example, right?
Right.
And you see the draw and the pull and everything that he has, and you do nothing with him. I mean, they did the same thing with Karrion Cross. They've done the same thing with numerous talent that they were hot and then they either like just buried them and then released them, or you know, people don't want to sign a new contract because they're like, well, you've done jack with me, so like I'm gonna go take my talents elsewhere.
Yeah.
But you know,
You
I
know,
mean, it's and it's tough because I mean, like obviously there's a plethora of stories going on. It's not like, you know, we want everything to encompass at one time, like the 10 stories we want. You know, there is that factor, but it's just it's sometimes like when they've been, you know, pushing Jey Uso down our throat, and you know, the fans, you know, when you're in the stadium and you're having a good time, you're not going to be subjective to the talent because you're excited, you're in the moment. But then when you see the online literally flip the script on him and they're like, we don't like anything you've ran your course, we're not interested, we're disliking things, you know, you winning matches, and it's like and it's spreading like wildfire. I mean, you know, when Cody went for the championship, they listened to the fans, right? The we
Yes,
want
they did.
hashtag we want Cody. They listened. And now you have Jey Uso, they're not listening because and like
They're
I get it.
booing him.
And I get it. Jay's a big star. Like I don't want to not see him. It's just the way they're pushing him on us, and like they're not. It's not authentic. You know, like you look like I said about Ellen Knight. Ellen Knight is authentic. Karrion Cross was he was over authentically. Jey Uso is shoved down our throats.
No,
a
Is what I
a
get.
lot of fans, a lot of fans are getting sick
I
of it.
disagree with him being shoved down their throats. In the sense of his whole character, his whole run. I think what they're doing in these last 60 days, probably, but his authenticism coming up and having that genuine connection with the crowd, yeah, I think what we're finding is that they keep pushing him in ways that is not responding. Now, I don't mind Jay winning or trying and succeeding or filling a void, you know what I'm saying, of being the singles competitor. What I do mind is that it does seem forced, and I'll acknowledge that, but I don't want to take away, or I won't take away from the fact that he has an authentic connection. And even with John Cena, we have seen throughout his career that there's been times where they pushed the shit out of John Cena,
Yeah.
even though we didn't want him.
Yeah.
They still did it. And now look at it, 20 plus years later, people are celebrating,
They
what
can
he's
push
done
Cena
for
down
the,
my throat all they want. I still enjoy seeing him.
you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
I've
not
always
like,
been a fan of when I was a fan of him when he first started. I was a fan of him when he did start out as a heel for a little bit,
Hmm.
but it didn't work. I like that side of him, but when he was coming out with all the baggy jerseys and shit like that, that's the Cena I like. The Cena we see now, I don't really care for. I
yeah.
like the Cena I used to see when he first started, wear the baggy jerseys for whatever city
Yeah.
he's
Yep.
in,
Yeah.
or
Yeah. And
whatever
like,
state.
yeah, and like I'm not down like I don't want to like, sound like mean about it. Like I'm not
Right.
downplaying his rise, to becoming a singles competitor and truly being main event Jey Uso. Like I don't take him in the regards of that like he's proven that he's main event Jey Uso.
Right.
I just don't like the these last, let's say 3-4 months. It's just backstage segments, matches, and like it's a little bit too much.
It is,
Mhm.
but he needs to work on his. Jay just needs to work on a little bit more of his mic skills.
I think that could be said about,
A lot of them.
Oh yeah,
a
there's
lot of
definitely a lot of people.
but at the
They need
same
Definitely
better
time,
his damn
promo
brother.
oh yeah, you know what?
His mic
Some
they need
skills
they need they
suck.
need to reestablish promo classes because
Mm, yeah,
I think they need to go back to NXT to learn that shit.
yeah, I would agree. I would agree. So, what's next?
so no, we'll move
Miserable
much.
we'll
segue.
move
Sorry.
just straightforward, man, just straightforward.
Oh goodness.
So SmackDown kicks off, and we, at the end of Raw, we basically had Rhea Ripley and Io Sky come out and basically help them thwart off, I think it was Nia and Last Legends or whatever, right? So then SmackDown basically kicks off in the same direction, and so you have Rhea, you have Io, and then you have Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss come out. And now, after doing a little bit of digging,
Mhm.
and so basically, so Charlotte is basically, she's like, I'm out. I don't want to do this match, yada yada. And I think it could legitimately be a handful of things. Um, One being he's out for some different people to come in that
Mhm.
we haven't seen, or B, maybe her knee is not as good and she doesn't want to be in a gruesome match, or C is that they're building towards the breakup of Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. And I would lean towards probably C, is that they're basically driving a wedge between Alexa and Charlotte. Um, and that's that one that kind of just makes sense. Like, okay, you guys have run your course, and now it's time to disband and go about our ways. But I mean, again, so then that leaves us with again 2 from the men's, 2 from the women's that we don't know officially yet. Obviously, I think on the men's side, it's pretty clear it's Drew McIntyre and then some other person. But
I say Brock Lesnar.
yeah. Well, I'm talking about on like the evil side, not the good side. But
No, that's what I'm talking about. The evil side.
Mhm.
and, you know,
Brock
I
Lesnar.
would
You got Paul Heyman over there.
You know, you do.
That
have
would be a
point.
powerhouse to add his ass into it.
You know, anything's possible.
Add Brock, and then over on the other side, add Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably like a pool of probably 6 we could pretty much distinctively go either way.
I'm still gonna say my answer's right. I'm gonna go
All
with
right.
my answer.
All
You
right.
know what?
Well,
I'm not arguing with you, Tim. You're too
It's
tall to
offi-
argue with.
it's official.
That
It's
is true.
official.
I am a tall son of a bitch.
Yeah, but next
That
to
is-
Drew McIntyre, you're a little bit shorter. But
yeah, I was to say, yeah, that's true. He got a couple inches on me.
so anyways, as Frederick would say, let's move on. But you know, that's you know what?
Let's
That's
move
your
on.
that's your new segue. That is your new pick. That is your new
All right.
line.
Let's move on.
That's gonna be his broadcast. Let's
Don't
move
make
on.
me laugh. I'll cough. I'm trying to fight it
So-
right now.
So again with Jey Uso. So we have Jey Uso versus The Miz, and the last time is now first round. And like we've said, obviously Jey Uso wins against The Miz. Honestly, I would have preferred The Miz, but I'm biased for The Miz, and I know you guys
Oh,
think
I like
less
the
of me.
Miz.
I mean, well, Fredericks thinks less of me about The Miz, but
I always liked the Miz when he was a heel. I liked him when he first came into the WWE when he was wearing fucking shorts.
oh
They're
man,
doing
Yeah, I
this.
remember that.
oh
And
man,
that spike style haircut.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
man.
Oh.
You know, it worked, okay? It worked because
I
it was like
miss that
it
Miz.
was just the cliche guy from real world, like, persona.
Real
Like
world
that's
rules.
yeah. And I mean, and so it it played well. But
Oh yeah.
so obviously Jey Uso wins, yada yada, life goes on. But so since the US title has been won by Sami Zayn a while back, he has basically gave homage to John Cena and having an open challenge. And so obviously Ilya won a while back and he's continuing that, which again I say I love it. I love having a championship defended every freaking week and we never know what we're gonna get.
But who we gonna get?
And so we get Ilya Dragunov versus Axiom, who is the other part of Fraxium with Nathan Frazier. And again, 2 phenomenal tag team competitors. But and honestly, man, like for 2 guys that are basically cruiserweight, it was a banger. Like, I don't think people realize how hard Ilya Dragunov can slap. Like,
Oh,
pound for pound, he has probably the craziest slap. Like, obviously, Gunther's a little.
him and Gunter with their slaps together.
Like-
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, and I said this last week, and I probably said it a million times. Is like, go back and look at the NXT Championship, the UK NXT Championship versus Ilya and Gunther, well, Walter at the time. And like you want to see a slap fest, dude. It is brutal,
You could,
but it is
Yeah, go
probably
back.
one of the.
yeah, I'll say go back and watch that because when they were in that small building, small room, you could hear that slaps bounce off the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were basically anticipating a surprise entrant versus LA Knight in the last time is now tournament. And I know we talked about this beforehand, but so we got Zack Ryder back, right? Better known in the indies as Matt Cardona, which is his actual name. I kind of agree in our assessment pre-show is that Zack Ryder can afford a loss. because the character of Zack Ryder is been, and it's always been until he left WWE. He was mid card at best in WWE, but I think it's, when he ventured off, he wanted to be himself, and it was him just basically unleashing. Now the character of Zack Ryder for him is fun, right? And so he enjoys being Zack Ryder, Long Island Z, like, and so it's okay that LA Knight beat Zack Ryder, because that doesn't mean really a hill of beans in the grand scheme of things, because Zack Ryder still is not that old, and he still has plenty of gas in the tank for a career back in WWE. Now, what they do with him, I hope they don't miss it, because he does have, because of all the indie stuff, he has an exuberantly large fan base. And so I think, what they do with him is, again, one of those situations where I say, don't miss the opportunity.
I
And
knew
I'm not,
I had a feeling he was going to be in it because him and Cena have a history with each other.
well, and you could see when Chelsea Green looked at the lottery thing, you could already pretty much tell. She basically pretty much looked at him and just smiled, and it was kind of a dead giveaway. It's still fun. I mean, I still
Mhm.
like that that it was like his intro wasn't woo woo woo. It was woo woo. Like, it was like a little bit slower,
Mhm.
which, I
Stuck with
think,
the old school music, and I liked it.
yeah, and I do it, and it's fun music, man. I don't even
Oh yeah,
care. So so Jade Cargill, ever since becoming champion, is basically putting the locker room on notice, as she should. And so there was a segment, last week or week before, backstage with Michin and BFAB. And so we get Jade Cargill versus BFAB, and she just buried her. And that's like, and I think we've talked about this before, in that, like, sometimes you need to just let these champions just bury some people and have some squash matches before you really set them up for, legitimate competitors. And they've done
Mhm.
this for the existence of the product. You've seen like local talent face off against people. Like, it's not a new concept. It's been around for forever. So, like, BFAB can take a loss,
oh
but like
definitely.
but like how Jade Cargill absolutely annihilated her, that's gonna up her credibility. Because, I mean, we've said for basically since Jade has come to WWE that, she had her rough spots and her ring rust. And,
Mhm.
and again, I've apologized, maybe, I don't remember, but but, like that, she's really come around and she's put in the work, and now you're seeing the outcome of the hard work. And so, like, I love this Jade Cargill. Like, I think, she's just gonna bully everybody, and she don't care. She ain't making friends. She's, doing her thing. And so I like what they're doing. Yeah. Um so I don't know if it was, let's see. So we had Cody Rhodes versus Big Bronson Reed in a title match that was an absolute mess. Um but So Cody obviously does get the win against Bronson Reed. Again, not really much of a surprise. They weren't going to take the strap off Cody, but
Well, definitely
because
not.
he's the new John Cena. Let's call it like it is.
All right. Well.
He's John Cena 2.0 with a neck tattoo. So,
Mm.
but so after all it's said and done with the match, obviously there was a whole slew of people getting involved in the match. That's why I say not really any surprise. And so basically, by the looks of it, we have 4 out of the 5 guys for the War Games match. That being, obviously, we already know Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker. We know Logan Paul. And then, obviously, Drew McIntyre seems to be the obvious add-on
Mm-hmm.
to this point. So, I mean, you know, I'm like, I really hope like they do some surprise people this week in regards to who they put in the
Say
War Games match.
They say for they still got one surprise opening for the Cena tournament tomorrow.
Yeah, so basically they've already released basically every match with the exception of the Solo Sikoa versus said mystery person. So they've already done the 16, so we already pretty much know everybody except for one person. And I feel like if Zack Ryder was any indication, this person probably won't win. If unless it's like a Chris Jericho or an Edge or someone from I don't know.
I don't think it'll be Chris Jericho because I know he did sign a contract with WWE. That I read, but he's supposed to make appearance into WWE not to next year, not to
Yeah.
26. It'll probably be the Royal Rumble. That's
Dude,
what I'm thinking.
Dude, that'd be dope. Oh man, he's old.
He's been
But
talking.
he's-
I've been following him a lot on a lot of social medias. He's been talking to a few people about it. He said he did sign a contract with them because he's no longer with AEW. He let his contract expire, and he wants to go back to WWE to retire with WWE. That's where he wants to retire at.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna say he's gonna make his appearance in the Royal Rumble.
I mean, Edge did it. Why not? I mean,
Yeah. He did get Edge did get a pop.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So basically, we have the matches left. So tomorrow we get Javon Evans versus the returning Gunther, and we get Solo Sikoa versus a surprise opponent. And I'm honestly thinking this last match will probably be like the main event. Is my guess is if it's a a bigger surprise. But I guess we'll wait and see how they map out the show. But and then on Friday we get Finn Balor versus Penta, and we get Carmelo Hayes versus Bronson Reed. So I mean, that's pretty much all.
Gonna win that one.
yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I don't see how Bronson Reed does not win.
Maybe
and
it's
it doesn't even have. Maybe, and it doesn't have to be a clean win. Maybe Carmelo Hayes and The Miz have a fight, and Carmelo gets counted out. So
I mean,
I could see that. I could see Miz fucking him over.
I mean, they already kind of had their little beef thing. I mean, I don't feel like it's going to be an extended, beef between Carmelo Hayes and The Miz. I mean, I think
it's not that really that good of a rival, anyways.
No, I mean it's what Miz is. It's literally one of Miz's great recipes he has. I mean, he did that crap with Daniel Bryan. I mean, he's done it with multiple other people that he's brought in. He did the same thing with, what's his face, Tommaso Ciampa. So I mean, this is just kind of Miz's way of doing things.
Yeah, he likes to help push people up because I remember when he did that with Daniel Bryan when they were doing that NXT Tough Enough shit. When I seen that in person and seeing the Miz and Daniel Bryan go at it.
Yeah. So basically, Survivor Series currently we have Cody, CM Punk, Jey Uso, and 2 to be determined. We have Bronson versus Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, and it says, I mean, the website I have says 2 of them to be announced, but we all know one of those is going to be Drew McIntyre. So I guess hopefully we figure out the 5th person. And like you said, I don't feel like anybody's off the table for either side of this. Whether it's the good guys or the bad guys, I feel like there's a lot of names on the table.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a
And
good match.
so, I mean, we'll see what they come up with this week. But and then on the women's side, we have Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Alexa Bliss, and 2 to be determined versus Nia Jax, Lash Legends, Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, and 1 to be announced. So that's what we got.
I still say
in-
Charlotte's gonna join them.
I mean, you know, it's tough, but I mean, there's been looming possibilities of an AJ Lee return to
Ooh.
join. So I think,
I'll be okay with
like
that.
I said, I think she's leaving for 2 other big stars to join. But I mean, you know, we could get something even as crazy as Nikki Cross. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because there's that history with Alexa Bliss, you know, and Nikki Cross is freaking loony. So like now,
That
I
is
mean,
true.
I mean, but I don't think it's probable just because Nikki Cross, her character right now is really not much of a wrestler. So like, I don't think that's a possibility. I mean, I guess it's a possibility. I don't think it's probable, but you know, I think we're going to get, you know, I feel like they're going to stack it because they have to, because the way ESPN has reviewed like especially WrestlePalooza, it was an absolute flop. So WWE has to go big at Survivor Series. There's no other direction they can go than they're going to have to go big. Because WrestlePalooza, even without ESPN ranking it, we all know it was shit.
Yeah.
And so I really think they're going to have to truly pull out the punches because I mean, even the Netflix stuff with Raw, the numbers are down. So like they need to step up their game a little bit because when it comes down to it, the attendance to events and the reviews of events and the plethora of online chatter like is all very kind of in the same direction of like, hey, you guys gotta like figure it out and get your crap together because you know Netflix is huge, ESPN is huge. So like when you're disappointing the people that cut the checks, like I feel like Netflix might start chirping and might start, you know, telling TKO, hey, we want this. Like, I feel like it's very possible that Netflix could pull a Saudi and be like, hey, we cut the check, give us what we want. And I mean, at the end of the day, they're loyal to whoever cuts the
Has
checks.
the money. Yep.
You know, we got that with TKO when they came in, and the Rock being the head of TKO. But like, and so now you have ESPN deals, you have Netflix deals, so you have a lot of people that have invested and spent the money to bring you to their platform. So you got to get your shit together, and that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah,
But I mean, it has to happen. I mean, you can't.
I think eventually they will do something that puts the product in a better light. But I do remember there were even times during the Vince McMahon eras that the product was crap. People hated it. They were very hypercritical, and people still, you know, continue to watch. And so, I think it's got to be somewhere in like agreements that, you know.
Well, I mean, the fans are going to
we'll
watch.
give you what we'll give you what we can, but we don't, you know.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, like, well, that's the thing is like the fans are going to be the fans. We're loyal to a fault, But like, when they have the execs that are looking at the ratings and they're crunching the numbers. We're watching the product. They're paper management. We're the fan base, right? So they're the ones running the numbers and they're running, they're looking at it from a different purview than we are. And so, but it's a wait and see game, and that's all it's gonna be. So
Pretty much.
I really hope that, the second PLE we have on ESPN is much better. So,
It should be.
But
I don't know. I don't watch it on ESPN. I've been watching it off of Hulu.
Well, it's all part of the same kabook.
Oh, I know, but I don't have to use that stupid ESPN fucking app. I had to uninstall that shit. That thing was lagging. That thing was pissing me off. I was like watching the fucking Logan Paul fight at fucking Netflix. It kept lagging, kicking me off. I'm like, oh my god. And I said, fuck it. I was like, I'll go to Hulu and see if it's on there. And I seen it work. And I'm like, oh, this is a lot fucking better.
Yeah. So, but we shall put a pin in this. Oh, I did that simultaneously. So
our minds think alike.
Well, we've all gotten
most part
for the most part. Anyway, but we'll definitely be back next week to again pick apart things, and hopefully we have some more definitive answers for Survivor Series and everything else going on. So see how things pan out with the Last Time Is Now tournament. We'll see how that goes, and we'll just wait and see. So this is the Lockdown Podcast. Peace.